Hey, good morning, everyone. It is, let's see, 9:19 a.m. on Wednesday, January 7th. So we're just about 5 days away from starting our, well, I don't want to say fun, but starting our Bio 35 journey. So I wanted to email you guys a little orientation video for a few different reasons. Number one, to introduce myself so you know who you're dealing with next week. I know some of you, I already know several of you, so that'll be cool and fun. But also, I just wanted to take some time to go through the class. That way, when we meet next week on Monday for the first time, we don't have to go through all of the same things. I'll go through a few of the same things I'm going to go over now, but just obviously not in as much detail. That way, we can talk about how to succeed in the class, expectations, how and really how to get you guys off on a good note. That way, and plus you can meet your SI. His name's Tanvir. I think you'll really like him. He's a cool guy. So anyway, let's go through this. And so first of all, my name is Joel Rogers. And like I said, I know several of you already from anatomy last fall. So welcome back to those of you. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again and having another good semester. And for those of you that haven't met me, just let me tell you a little bit about myself. I just had a birthday a few days ago, so I'm 52 now, and my kids think I'm old. And sometimes I feel old when I get out of bed or when I can't recover as quickly from the gym, but my brain still thinks that I'm, in my early 30s. I was born in Hanford. I'm a local guy. Grew up in Selma. Went to Selma High. Went to college in Fresno. Initially to Fresno Pacific on a track scholarship. I was a thrower, so I did shot put and discus and all that good stuff. Ended up going to Fresno State later on for my graduate studies. And I got my EMT license, worked as an EMT. I started, almost finished a doctoral program in adult learning, but I didn't quite finish because life just took a weird turn for me, and I kind of I just stopped the program. So I almost had a EDD after my name, but didn't quite make it there. I've been married, just had my 20th anniversary a few weeks ago. My wife Amy is an elementary school vice principal here in Kingsburg, where we live. I have a couple of kids. My daughter will be 19 in April. She's a freshman in college. And my son is 15. He's a freshman at Kingsburg High. And so, yeah, we've got 3 cats. Right now we have 4 because we're cat sitting for my mom, who broke her leg back at the end of October. Some of you already know that because you kind of walked through that with me a little bit. And I haven't given her cat back to her yet. So we have 4, unfortunately, running around. Yeah, as you'll find, I'm pretty laid back, as some of you know. I'll talk sports, I'll talk movies, pop culture. I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about, and I'm pretty laid back, like I said. And I want to get to know you guys. I feel very strongly. I've been at Lemoore College now for about 21 years. And I feel very strongly every semester about getting to know my students. And I don't expect to, be your best friend, but I do want to get to know you guys because I feel that an emotional connection is good to a point between faculty and students because it creates a positive learning environment. And so I want you guys to be able to feel safe when you come into my class or lab. Because I'm always going to do my best to create a safe environment, and it doesn't matter what background you come from, hopefully you're not a Dodgers fan, because that's not good, because I'm a Giants fan. But it doesn't matter to me what background you come from, where you come from, but because I'm going to treat you with kindness and respect, and I want you guys to know that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But like I said, I'm pretty laid back, and I think you guys are going to have a good time. I'm not going to be easy on you. This class is hard. I'm not going to lie. Bio 35 is a difficult class, and I'm going to challenge you. I'm going to make you work for that A. And like I said, you are going to have to work. It's I can only do so much, and I will do whatever I can to help you succeed. But at the end of the day, if you don't succeed, that will be on you. But like I said, I will do absolutely everything in my power to make sure that you succeed and have a good experience. So, all right, that's enough about me. Let's get to it. So when you guys log into Canvas, okay, when you're actually, if you're watching this video right now, it will have shown up in your email inbox as a YouTube video. And so the first thing that I need to make extremely clear, because even though I'm going to clarify this, some of you will ask me, and it happens every semester. Let me explain what I mean. So we have, this is the first time, I don't think we've ever had this at Livermore College in the last 21 years, but we're doing a triple section, which means that we have three different sections that are all going to meet for a joint lecture on Monday and Wednesday mornings from 8 to about 9:15. And then the three groups will split up for 3 different labs. If you are in section 1, which you can see actually right over here, Bio 35 section LO1, okay, you will have lab Monday, only Monday after we have lecture. If you are in Bio 35 section 2, L02, you are also in this little Canvas area here. Even though it says LO1, LO2, you are also in here. Okay, so for you LO2 people, when you log into Canvas and you see this, even though remember you only see L01, if you're in LO2, you are there as well. Okay, so don't freak out. And then here's the weird part. Section 8, L08, if you are enrolled in that section, you are also here, even though it only says L01. Canvas took away my ability to edit this title to make it less confusing. And so that's why it's easy for people to get confused that are not in section 1. Okay, so let me repeat that one more time. Section 1, 2, and 8, you are all in this. So whenever you log into Canvas and this is what you see, you are in the right place. Especially you section 2 and you section 8 people, okay? So that's, you guys are all in this one section here. So let's click on it. And there is our Canvas homepage. All right, so obviously you can tell I'm a Bay Area sports fan. My dream school was the University of Michigan. I stayed in Fresno, so I didn't achieve that dream. And then I'm a big Star Wars fan. And over here are the various menu options in our Canvas home that you need to be familiar with. Basically, you, for the most part, you don't need anything below grades. Okay, so you need announcements, the syllabus, the modules, Access Pearson, quizzes, and grades. Everything below grades is basically for me. I haven't played around with Conmigo yet, so I'm still learning about that. But again, anything below grades, you really don't actually need, unless you want to get to know the people in your class. There, all of you are listed right here, and I'm not going to click on that because in my current view, if I click on this people link here, not only will you see everybody's names, but you'll also see student IDs, and I can't show you that for privacy rights or privacy reasons. Okay, so whenever you click on that little blue Bio 35 section 1 thing in Canvas, this is the first thing that you're going to see, and everybody will see. And as you can see here, there's section 1, 2, and 8. Okay, now I'm going to skip the syllabus, but let me just show you here real quick in announcements. This is where I will post any important announcements for the class. I already put one here, and let me just real quickly go through and show you what I mean. Oh, there's Thor. I want you to do 3 things for me before next Monday. Okay, so you have about 5 days to get this done. Number 1 is, obviously, if you're hearing me say this, you're already doing number 1, which I wanted you to watch that orientation or this orientation video. Number 2, I want you to sign up for my class remind distribution list. Those of you that had me last fall know what I mean. And those of you that haven't had me yet, I use Remind. It's a communication app. I use it to communicate with my classes, with my students. And it's also nice because you can communicate directly with me. And whenever I send messages out to the class, or if I have to send a direct message to somebody individually, the message will go out from the app on my end, and it will show up on your phone as a text. And the thing I like about it is that it doesn't give you my phone number. I don't give out my phone number hardly ever. My colleagues have it, the administration has it, and my SIs have it. But I never give it out to students because I personally don't feel that it's appropriate to share that much personal information with my students. But once we're done with class, if you ever want to stay in touch with me through social media and things like that, that's different. But during the semester, I'm very careful about the degree of personal contact between myself and my students. Okay, so watch the video. Number 2, sign up for Remind, and the instructions to do that are in the syllabus, and I'll show you where. And then number 3, and this, believe it or not, this is super important to me, and I want you guys to do this very, very soon, is I want you to update your Canvas profile picture. Okay, so because what that is, and you should know this by now if you're, this shouldn't be your first semester in Lemoore, but when I click on the people link here and I see the class list, there you have your picture there, your profile pic. And I like to go through as I'm getting to know you guys and I'm taking attendance. And I will take attendance every lecture and every lab, but especially in labs. Early on in the semester, when I'm after I've taken attendance and you're working, I like to scroll through the people link here and go through the class roster and look at your pictures, and that way I can faster, hopefully, memorize your names and your faces. So that way I can go through the roster here, and if I have a nice close-up view of your face, like a good headshot, I can look out in the lab and be like, okay, there's so-and-so, that's this person, and then keep looking around, all right, that's this person, and so on. Because I want to get to know you, and I want to be able to sit at my desk, whether that's in lecture or lab, and just look out at the crowd and know who's there or who's not there. And the only way that I can do that, the fastest way I can do that, is to look at your pictures, okay? So please update your Canvas profile pic, and I want a nice headshot. I don't want you with a pet. I don't want you with a boyfriend or girlfriend or spouse or your kids. I don't want the one I hate the most is the dumb selfie, you know, where you're holding your phone out and you're doing the stupid, I don't know what the lip thing they call it is, but you make the lips. I hate that. One of my cousins used to do that all the time and I can't stand it. So don't do that, okay? I'm looking for nice headshots, almost like a senior picture in the yearbook or like a yearbook picture or a driver's license picture, like my buddy here, okay? But I say that, something like a driver's license headshot or a yearbook picture, but do not put your driver's license in there. It happened last spring. I sent out this video and somebody was just, they were doing what they thought best, and they acted quickly, but they actually posted their driver's license in Canvas. I'm like, oh, no. So I had to email them. And so I didn't say your driver's license. I said a picture like a driver's license photo. Okay, so don't put your driver's license because everybody will see it, and we don't want that. So something like this headshot here, or something like this here, or there's me back. That was the picture in my senior yearbook. So you know, when you're going through the pages of my class of 1991 high school yearbook, that's me. So yeah, no facial hair, brown hair, and yeah, so it's kind of a long time ago. So something like that, okay? So please do that. I would prefer that you do that before we even meet next Monday, okay? So again, whenever I post announcements, I will typically post them here, and then I will send a message out in Remind, okay? I'm going to skip the syllabus for now. The modules is incredibly important. This is where you're going to find all of the information, PowerPoints, study guides, study videos for the entire course. This first section here is a bunch of resources for you as students that are not directly related to the class, okay? But this is all the material you need for Unit 1 that we will technically start on Wednesday the 14th. I don't lecture in my full-term Bio 35 classes. I don't lecture on day 1 because I wanted to talk about the class, but we will lecture next Wednesday on the 14th, okay? And so this is all the material you need for Unit 1. There's a study guide that you're going to have. I put out study guides for every exam. And as you can see, if you scroll through here, there's only material for Unit 1, and I do that intentionally. I will roll out your material per unit, okay? So here's your study guide for the first exam. Here is, these are pre-recorded lecture videos that I have for, I think I have them for all or most of my Bio 35 lectures. I need to go back and check on that because when I checked towards the end of last fall, I think there were 2 or 3 that I might need to redo. But I think all of these are still good. And so these are pre-recorded lecture videos. They do not take the place of our live lectures, but I do put them there. That way, if you, like, let's say if you were sick one day and you weren't in class, or you just were having a bad day and not able to focus, and you're like, oh man, Rogers, I'm sorry. I had a fight with my girlfriend, or I had a fight with my boyfriend, or I'm just having trouble at work and I was just stressed out and wasn't able to focus. Hey, it's life. Stuff happens. Then you can have these videos to kind of go back and reinforce or re-listen to the lecture. PowerPoints will always be here as well. So this is the PowerPoint that we're gonna use, or I will use for next Wednesday's lecture, and it's that you're welcome to download it and print it or keep it, whatever you want. It's there. And then this is there's 3 neuro lectures, parts 1, 2, and 3. But they're all here. I didn't split it up into 3 separate neuro PowerPoints. So when you open this PowerPoint up, you'll notice that there is a title slide for the first part for part 1, and then there's a title slide for part 2, and then a title slide for part 3. But they're all in this. These sections here are excerpts from a textbook from a company called OpenStax. It's a legitimate, viable textbook, and it's free. And so what I have the ability to do is I can go to their main website where the main textbook is located, and I can copy and paste material that I want you to focus on. So that way, like if money is tight and you don't want to buy a book, you can actually use this here. And so just for example, let me just show you this. This is the material that would correspond to next Wednesday's lecture, talking about the cell membrane, membrane transport, and so on. And so you can go through and read that just like reading a textbook. All right. So again, that is I'll discuss textbooks a little bit later. And then basically everything else below that are supplemental videos that I find to be potentially helpful and useful. Okay. None of them are required assignments. I'm a huge Ninja Nerd fan. Some of that is there. Crash Course from YouTube, Khan Academy, all, again, supplemental study videos that you might want to look at if you're struggling. What's even more important to assist you when you're struggling, I'll talk about this next Monday, is something in mastering A&P called interactive physiology. And I'll show you that, like I said, next week. Okay. So when you guys are taking your first exam on I think it's Wednesday, February 3rd, 4th, somewhere right in there. I want to say it's the 4th. I don't have my calendar in front of me. When you're taking your first exam, basically, I will take all of this material down and replace it with the Unit 2 material. So that way, I don't ever suggest that when you're done that day with taking an exam, that you immediately go home and jump into the next unit's material. I'm a big advocate of, hey, take a little bit of time to decompress, to relax, and then get to it later. Okay? So all of this will disappear when you're taking your first exam, and will be replaced with the Unit 2 material. All right. Access. You know what? I'm going to wait and talk about this next Monday, because there's some things in it that I need to show you that aren't they're there, but they haven't they don't appear until 8 a.m. Monday morning. So I'm going to wait and show you that and talk about homework and the bells and whistles in person. Okay. Let's see. Quizzes. Whenever we do our exams, there's going to be 6 exams that will cover the 6 different units. You will have essay questions on 4 of the 6 exams. And what Tanvir and I kind of we decided to try out last fall, and I think we might try it again this semester, is to offer you exams in 2 different formats. I will offer you a traditional paper-based exam where I'll pass out test packets and provide you with a Scantron to take the exam. And it's the big Scantron with area to write on for the essay response. But then I'll also prepare a version of the test that is computer-based. So if you prefer a laptop or an iPad, we will leave that up to you. And so we'll talk a little bit more about that in another week or two. But just know that if you decide, hey, Rogers, which by the way, most people just call me Rogers. You can call me Joel. That's my first name. But like I said, 99% of people call me Rogers. So if you're like, hey, Rogers, dude, or like my daughter, bruh. It's not dad, it's bruh most of the time. So if you want to like Rogers, bruh, bro, dude, whatever, if you're from the 80s, I'm going to take the computer-based exam. This is where you'll click to find the computer-based exam. And then on test day, it'll be there. I'll give you a password because it's password protected and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, we'll talk about that in the coming weeks. Grades, you don't need to click on that now. But after every exam, I will update the grade book to include your exam score and your homework score. So that way you can kind of keep track of how you're doing over the course of the semester. All right. So let me go back to the syllabus now. And I'll try and go through this as quickly as possible because, again, we're going to talk about some of the highlights next Monday. So there will always be an electronic version of the syllabus here. But if you want to download the syllabus as a paper version, I have it here in 2 different formats, Word document and a PDF. Both the same thing. The only thing that's, I apologize to Tanvir specifically because I didn't put anything about the SI in the actual syllabus or here. But we will put his information in an announcement that will remain there, so that way you guys know how to get a hold of him. So, Bio 35, sections 1, 2, and 8. Okay? Here is my name, my email address, and my office phone number. I do have office hours, which are here. I'm not in I'm there. But if you need to get in touch with me, honestly, the best ways to do it are email, through Remind, or talk to me directly. If you want to come to my office during any of the scheduled office hours, you are more than welcome to do so. Especially if it's more of a serious issue that we need to deal with. I always tell my students, consider my office as Las Vegas. Okay, and you guys know the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And so I take that very seriously. And so basically what I mean by that is if you need to come to my office and you're like, hey, Roger, I'm really struggling with the class, or I'm struggling with this or that, you come to my office and what we discuss does not leave the office unless perhaps I feel that you're in some sort of danger, then I have to legally report that. But I've had people come into my office and cry because they lost a family member. I've had people cry over grades. I had a student, it was in the fall, I want to say, of 24. It's the fall semester of 2024, I think. This student was, she tried to leave lab early. And I'm like, hey, you can't leave. There's no way you're done. What's going on? And she kind of got all serious for a moment. And so we kind of stepped in we stepped out of the lab into the back lab area, which you guys will know what that is. I'm like, what's going on? Talk to me. And, and then she starts getting all teary eyed. I'm like, oh boy. All right, here, let's go to my office. My office is in the science building. And so we went and sat down in my office, and basically what happened was she proceeded to tell me that she had been in an abusive relationship, and it was kind of coming to a head. And so we talked about it, and I said, hey, this is serious stuff, and I'm not going to just blow this off. And so I said, if you're fine with it, what I feel obligated to do is to submit a report to our counseling department and have somebody follow up with you just to make sure that you're okay and you get the help that you need. And she was fine with it, and so it worked out okay. But that's what I mean is if you have issues and you want to talk to me in more of a private way, that's the place to do it. As we can just sit in my office. I went to Walmart this morning after I dropped my son off at school, loaded up with some snacks. So what I've got pistachios, I've got fruit snacks, I've got Chomps, I've got what else did I pick up? Like trail mix. I picked up little trail mix packets, keto friendly. And then I usually have water, soda. I usually keep energy drinks on hand too for my longer days. And I have coffee. I have a Keurig in my office. So I don't have creamer though. But I have sweetener. So if you're down for some straight up strong black coffee, come to my office. Even if you're not struggling with anything, if you're like, hey, Rogers, bruh, I want some coffee, man. Hook me up. I'll bring my Keurig into the lab and we'll brew coffee. And I've got cups and everything. So anyway, my office is a safe space. Okay. There is the information you need. So we have class lectures in room 719. This is a big lecture room. There are 2 doors for it, actually. So I will try and make sure that I am there a little bit early next Monday, so that way you don't have to stand out in the cold. Okay, I'll go in there and I'll have some music playing, probably 80s music because music today sucks compared to the 80s. And that way you just kind of come in and relax and hang out and we'll talk and so on. So that's all of you, sections 1, 2, and 8. Remember, combined lecture, 8 a.m. to 9:15 in 719 on Monday and Wednesday. Here's the information you need for your individual lab sections. Sections 1 and 2, you'll be in 201, and section 8, you'll be in 207. And here are the days and times for that. So we begin officially on January 12th. Your final exam, I went out on a limb. I did because they haven't released the finals schedule yet, but usually your final exam will be on the Monday of finals week. And here's the thing that really sucks, and I can't change this, so don't get mad at me, get mad at the college. But generally, if we have a class that starts at 8 a.m. during finals week, so Monday, May 18th, like I said, I'll confirm this later, but in the past, that final exam will start on that Monday. But like I said, here's the suck thing about it, is that we'll start at 7 a.m. It's like a 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Block for that exam. So that's stupid, but I can't change it. So you'll want to show up with some coffee or something to make sure you're awake. Now, important dates here. The last day to drop without a W is February 1st. So here's my suggestion. Start off that first week next week and be like, oh man, Rogers is great. He's like the best thing since the internet. And I definitely want to stay in and go through the whole class with him just so I can hear him, talk smack about the Dodgers when baseball season starts and so on. Or you can be like, oh man, Rogers is just crap. He doesn't know his Bio 35 material from his lower gastrointestinal tract. Then you can get out and before this date, and it'll be like you were never there. So that way you can get a few lectures under your belt to really kind of get a feel for if you like how I lecture. and if you think that you're prepared for the class. Because let's face it, and I'm one thing I will always do is I will always be honest with you guys. I will never pull punches. I'll be tactful, but I am a very real person. If you ask me, hey, what do you think about this? I'll tell you. So if you don't want an honest answer, then don't ask me, because I don't have much of a filter, and I don't know if that's because the older I get, the less of a filter I have, but I will be honest with you guys always, because I expect people to be honest with me. It's like if I say, hey, does this shirt or do these pants make me look fat? You better tell me. You better tell me. Okay, so if you want to get out without a W, I wouldn't drop on February 1st. If I were you, I would drop before February 1st just to be safe. Because if you drop anywhere between February 1st or probably February 2nd and April 19th, you will get a W. Okay. The W, it will not hurt your GPA, but it won't do you any favors for those of you that are trying to go on into more advanced healthcare related programs. Okay. So that's that. I'll probably mention that. That'll probably be one of the things that I mention again next Monday. Bio 35, little description there. So if you want to go into healthcare, nursing, dental hygiene, physical therapy, even kinesiology, or any other health-related discipline, this is a core class. Here is our book, the 12th edition of Human Anatomy and Physiology. The 11th edition has an Olympic gymnast on the cover. The 10th edition is an NBA player on the front cover. If you don't want to get this book brand new, because it's expensive, it's probably $300 at least. I mean, you can if you want, but I wouldn't go any older than the 10th edition. This was published in January of 2025. The 10th edition was published, I believe, in 2015. So it's 10 years old, but still, I think, pretty viable. I would suggest getting a hard copy of a book, because the PowerPoints are based out of the book material. Most of the information in your homework and interactive physiology is also based on material from the textbooks, because it's the same publisher. Okay. Web enhanced means that we're going to use the internet for a variety of things. Like most of your labs and all of your homework are pretty much web based. Course objectives, boring. Student learning outcomes, boring. Class policies, not boring. So, first and foremost, I take attendance very, very seriously, and I take attendance every lecture and every lab. If you get 4 absences before April 19th, I will drop you from the class the same day that you get that 4th absence. Okay, so, and this is and I'll probably remind you about this on Monday. So Monday will be the last time I mention this, your last warning. Okay, let's see. If you're going to be absent and you want it to be excused, all you have to do is bring me a note of some sort, doctor's note. If it's a college sponsored activity, let me know. But I have to have written verification, official written verification, not something jotted down on a piece of toilet paper or something like that. Okay. Let's say if you are more than 10 minutes late to lecture or lab, that counts as an absence. So please be aware of that. If you miss an exam, you're dropped immediately. If you leave lab early without my permission, that counts as an absence. If you are less than 10 minutes late to lab or lecture, that will count as a tardy. But for every 2 tardies that you get, that will count as an absence. Okay, so I'm cracking down on tardies and absences because people they disrespect me. And I had a student this last fall. Tanvir will know who I'm talking about, but this student, she came late to literally every single lab and every single lecture, and that pissed me off. So, yeah, don't do that. That's not cool. It's very disrespectful to me and also to your classmates. Because when you roll into class late like that, you're just distracting people. Okay, so please make sure you look at all this. Assignments are due usually. Okay, here's where it's. And again, I'm going to train you with how to turn things in. Your lab work, and I'll go over this next week, but your lab work you will physically turn into me on the day of a test. Your homework, your mastering A&P homework is digital. It's all electronic. And it is set up to be turned in with a deadline of midnight the night before the actual exam. So if your exam is on a Wednesday, your mastering homework will be due by 11:59 p.m. the night before. You can finish it and turn it in a week before that, but the absolute last time to turn it in is midnight the night before. And I will remind you multiple times about that. You want to read the material, no makeups on tests. I use mastering a lot and Canvas all the time. We're gonna do progress reports about midterm. So there's 6 units. So after unit 3, so this will probably be in early to mid March. It would be my guess by the time we get to this, probably early March. Should be before spring break. I will get you started on the lab activity of the day. And then I'll bring my laptop to the back lab area. And again, you guys will see this. It's not hidden. It's not some sacred temple area that only certain people can enter. I'll bring my laptop back there. I'll set up a couple chairs. I'll prop the door open so that way I can keep an eye on you guys. And then I'll pull each of you back one at a time. And I'll just say, okay, as of right now, based on what you've done so far, this is what your grade is. And again, based on the numbers, this is where I anticipate you would end up in May. And then we'll talk about that. Usually, if you're doing pretty good, I won't have much to say to you. But if you're doing pretty crappy, and if I feel that it is at that point your best interest to drop because you've put yourself in a position to not do well academically, then I'll tell you. But I don't take that lightly. Okay. I don't like people dropping. I don't like losing my students because it sometimes it looks bad on the instructor. I don't care how it looks on me. I care about you guys, and I care about whether you're doing well and whether you're learning. But again, like I told you guys before, I'm honest, and I will always be honest with you. Okay, so we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about it, as we're getting there. Here's the grading scale. I don't put point totals here because I change things from time to time in the spur of the moment. But it's basically an old-fashioned point-based system. There's no weighted scores. There's no curving. Let's say if there were 1,000 points total, to make it easy to understand. If there were 1,000 points, if you got 900 or more, you would get an A. Okay? If you got 899, that's a B. Okay? So pretty traditional. I already mentioned the exams. There are 6 of them. The only one that will include 2 different topics is the first one. The first unit exam is going to cover cell membrane transport and then the neuro material. Exam 2 is just muscle. Exam 3 is digestive. Exam 4 is cardiac. That's generally the biggest one. Exam 5 is the renal exam, and then your final exam, exam 6, is respiratory. It's not, so I don't do cumulative finals. It's just over what we're covering at the time, which will be respiratory physiology. Okay? And we'll talk more about exams and stuff as we go along. Canvas, blah, blah, blah. Not much extra credit. Quizzes, we'll talk about this in person. So I'm going to skip that for now. Let's see. Okay, Remind. This is the important stuff here. I mentioned before at the very beginning, you need to sign up for Remind before class starts next week. And that is the link that you will click on to do so. If you have to enter the code, I believe it's the @ symbol, and then BIO035SP26. So Bio 35 Spring 26. Now, let me kind of summarize these things here. Academic honesty policy and classroom behavior. Last spring, I had a really big problem with cheating. I caught a girl cheating on the first exam, and I dropped her before the exam was even over. On exam 2, I caught a guy cheating, and I dropped him before the exam was even over. So when we're taking the exams, if I catch you cheating, or if Tanveer catches you cheating, you will get dropped. There will be no discussion. You will get dropped before the day is over, probably before the exam is even over, depending on how fast I decide to act on it. So cheating, I don't tolerate in any form. So again, especially on an exam, if you cheat on an exam, you're done right then and there. If we catch you cheating on an assignment, generally what I do is I'll give you a score of 0 on that assignment, but not kick you out of class. The only time I kick people out of class for cheating is if they cheat on an exam. Okay, so please be aware of that, because I take that very seriously. And then with the classroom behavior, like I said before, I'm laid back. We're going to talk. We're going to have a good time. We're going to talk about all sorts of things other than class material. But if you are acting inappropriately, I don't like a lot of cursing in my class or lab. Like if I find you or hear you or see you acting inappropriately to another student, you're gonna wish you hadn't, because I will drop the hammer on you very quickly. Like I said, I don't tolerate anything inappropriate in my classes for any reason whatsoever. So basically, the language of the syllabus is this: I have the authority to drop you for any reason at any time, any reason that I see fit. Okay. But like I said, I'm not a power hungry person, but I take that very seriously. I only drop people for big reasons. So please don't put me in that position. Okay. Cell phones, I don't care generally if you have your phone out during labs or even during lecture. I don't want you on it during lecture because that's inappropriate. But during an exam, and I don't think I put that in here, but I'm saying it now, so it's on record, and I will remind you in person. If you have your cell phone out during an exam, you will get dropped immediately. Cell phones are okay at the beginning of an exam because, especially if you're doing the computer-based version, I think you need it for two-factor authentication, which I hate, by the way. But I'll tell you, once the two-factor authentication is done, I want the phone off and completely put away, because if Tanveer and I see a phone at all for any reason whatsoever during a test, you're just asking to get dropped. And that's how I caught the 2 people last spring. And the one guy in the second exam, I caught him 3 times using the phone. And one time he was even looking at me, which was, I'm like, oh, dude, I can't believe you did that. And so I dropped him. So anyway, I don't mind if you have them on during lecture, but have them on silent and put away if possible. If you're part of the DSPS program and you need any sort of special accommodations, please let me know sooner rather than later so I can work with you on that and kind of figure out the best way to help you out, okay? And then the last thing before I give you a quick little rundown of the schedule and then sign off is I don't have in the syllabus here is medical stuff. If and we'll talk about like protocol on day 1, like emergency medical situations, bomb threats, active shooter scenarios, that kind of thing. But if you have a medical condition that may present itself in lecture or lab, I would like to know about it. I would like to talk to you privately about it. And I don't want to talk to you about it because I want a bunch of details. I like information, but I want to talk to you about it just because I would like to know. And that way, if something happens, I'm prepared and not caught off guard. And that way I can help you as quickly and as efficiently as possible. Let me give you an example. A few years ago, I had a student that I believe it was in the summer school, emailed me and said, "Hey, Rogers, I just wanted to let you know ahead of time." Excuse me. I wanted to let you know ahead of time that I have a seizure disorder. And if I have a seizure in class, this is typically what it looks like. Um, excuse me. This is typically what it looks like, and this is where my medication is. And if I have one, this is oh goodness, excuse me. I didn't bring my water back to my little bedroom / office with me. This is what I want you to do. And I appreciated that. And it turned out one day that the student actually had a seizure, and it was in lab. I happened to be sitting at my desk, and I happened to look over, and they just collapsed in their seat. And so I just kind of quietly got up, went over, knelt down to get the medication where they told me it would be. And oddly enough, it wasn't there, but they woke up as I was looking for the medication. So I appreciate knowing whether it's a seizure disorder, perhaps it is maybe you're a diabetic and you have and you may have a hypoglycemic episode. I generally keep a little bottle of grape or apple juice in the office in my little refrigerator for situations like that. Or if you have something there. But again, the point is, I would like to know about it, and I would sincerely appreciate you pulling me aside and say, hey, Rogers, we need to talk about a medical condition. And like I said, that way I know exactly what you need and want me to do. Because the college expects me to do certain things, but I also want to expect, talk about you and your wishes. Because we do have an AED in the science building. I carry Narcan. We have Narcan in the back just in case I suspect somebody OD'd. We have that kind of thing on hand usually. Okay. So anyway, real quick, here's the semester schedule. I want you guys to feel free to ask me absolutely anything you ever want to ask me, except one question. The question that I can't stand getting is, hey, Rogers, what are we doing in lecture today? What are we doing in lab today? When you ask me that, what that tells me is that you didn't even try or look at the syllabus. Because everything that we are going to do from January 12th to May 18th is right here in the syllabus. Okay? Every lecture topic, every lab topic, everything, whether we have class or not, is in the syllabus. Okay? So, for example, next week, on Monday, we're going to talk about the class. So I can meet you, take roll, and so on. Lab is basically a lab introduction. Okay? And you're not, except for this, for you people that have lab on Monday, I'm going to show you, we're going to do a lab intro, but because the following Monday, we're off for Martin Luther King Day. And so I'm going to give you, you'll get your first lab as a take home, but I will probably give it to you this day. So that way I can walk you through it and show you how to do it. Okay. So you guys will be a little bit different, you Monday lab people, but that's okay. And so sections 2 and 8, I'll do your lab intro on Wednesday, but then I won't need to give you your material until the next Wednesday. Okay. So it tells you what we're doing in any given lecture or lab. It even tells you what days the exams are on and what is due. And all the way, President's Day. If you signed up for the Monday lab, so section 1, you guys have more time off than everybody else. So I don't know if I want to say good job there, but you picked the right semester to take a Monday lab class. And then, of course, we scroll down, and there is spring break, Monday, March 30th, Wednesday, April 1st, and so on. So, yeah, we'll have progress reports. So your third exam is March 11th. So we'll do progress reports this week right here, so week 10. That way we're at the halfway point content-wise, and you still have a few weeks left, because remember, the last day to drop with a W is April 19th. So you'll still have about a month left to decide if you want to do or if you want to stay in or not. Okay? So that's pretty much where I'm going to stop. Please feel free to ask any further questions next week when we get together. Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me. Textbooks. Most of you are probably wondering about the textbook. And I usually say don't ask that question until we meet in person. Well, let me show you real quick. That way, if you wanted to try and order something before next week, you can do that. Cheapesttextbooks.com is my preferred location to go. So if you type in Mary Ebb, that's our author, Human Anatomy and Physiology. There is the 10th edition, 9th edition. Let's see. The 12th edition is hard to find for some reason in here. There's the 11th edition. Okay, so actually let me go back and let me just show you. So here's the 10th edition. So you click on that, it'll help you find the cheapest price for it. You can buy that book for $10.73. I wouldn't rent. I think renting is stupid because here's the deal. If you're going to stay on a healthcare path, I would recommend that you buy a book and keep it as a resource because you're going to need it at some point in nursing school or dental hygiene school or physical therapy school or whatever. You're going to need it. Okay? So $10.73 for the 10th edition. Let me just show you how it goes up. The 11th edition used, you can buy it for $67. But in the brand new 12th edition is even more. Or you can go to openstacks.org, and this is where I got the parts of the book that I was telling you guys about earlier. So if you go to openstacks.org and you hover over subjects and you go down to science and click on that, right there, anatomy and physiology. You click on it, and there you go. You can buy a printed version of it. I bought one last year, I think in the spring or summer of last year, just so I could have it in my office. So if you want to take a look at that, I'll stop by. I'll show you what it looks like. Or you can view the book online. You can download a PDF of the entire textbook. You can look at the table of contents. If you want to go to a section directly, like let's see, yeah, right here, cell membrane, and you can go and look at the cell membrane stuff directly. Okay, so options. You can buy a book, or you can don't rent it. I would buy one, or you can use the OpenStax material here. But between the book and the PowerPoints and everything that I have for you online, you'll be fine. So a book is not required officially, but I wanted to give you options. The only thing that is required for the only required expense of this class is the Mastering A&P subscription. Like I said, I'll show you guys that on Monday. And I think some of you that I had last fall with anatomy, if you bought it and you did the multi-term access, you won't have to buy it again, but you'll have to re-register for it because this is a different class. But again, you have to buy that. You will not succeed. You will not pass the class if you don't get that subscription because a majority of your labs are in it, and literally all of your homework is in Mastering A&P. So yeah, I mean, for a science class, if you didn't buy a book, or if you got that 10th edition book for under $11, the Mastering subscription, I want to say, is in the 80s. So you could take a science class for under $100. That's pretty good. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys next week. It should be a good semester. I'm excited because I think I'm the first instructor ever to do a triple section. I don't think any of my colleagues ever have. This is extremely rare. So you guys are historical. Believe it or not, you guys are historical. I'm historical. Tanvir is historical. We're all historical together. So this should be good. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys and hopefully having a good semester with you. So yeah, please feel free to reach out anytime before next Monday. Generally speaking, I'll tell everybody and I'll remind you about this next Monday. During the week, reach out whenever you want. If you reach out after hours, which I guess technically is after 5 p.m., I probably won't get back to you until the following day. And if you reach out on a weekend, the response time may be a little bit delayed as well, just because it's the weekend. And I put family first on the weekends, especially because I'm busy. My wife is busy. I've got a college freshman, and I've got a high school freshman that's in band and that's going to be doing track. So my family time is extremely important to me. Not that I don't like you guys, but family always comes first. Okay, so you guys have a good rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you bright and early. I will probably have coffee in my hand Monday morning at 8 a.m. in room 719. See you then.